Competency.
I'm Dr. Beatrice Manyasi, the Dean School of Education. I would like to welcome the first years, the 2020 cohorts, to Maasai Mara University and to the School of Education. To the first years, 2020 cohorts, congratulations for passing your Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exam. Passing an exam calls for a lot of diligence and a lot of other things. We congratulate you for passing exams. Always remember that you are the top among many in the nation and globally. Purpose to realize your dream of excellence at the university and beyond, because you'll be in this university, God willing, for a period of 4 years to complete your B.Ed program. Welcome to Maasai Mara University and to the School of Education. The School of Education is one of the 5 schools found in Maasai Mara University, and we are anchored under the vision and mission to ensure that we achieve the vision and mission of the university. The vision of the school is to be a center of excellence in teacher education, and this is realized through its mission to provide quality teacher education through innovative teaching, research, and consultancy services for development. Note that we are talking about teacher education, but not training. You are therefore going to learn a lot. You'll acquire knowledge, you'll acquire skills, you are going to acquire values that will enable you to be a resourceful person in the nation. Maasai Mara University and the school operates. We believe in values, and the core values of the school are teamwork, professionalism, creativity and innovativeness, transparency and accountability, excellence, equality, and social justice. We will expect you to uphold the values. We expect a lot of teamwork. As you train even up with your friends, we'll expect you to be professional. Remember, teacher education deals with professionalism. And for those of you may be employed in Kenya, we have the Teacher Service Commission, which has a code of regulation to ensure that professionalism is upheld. And even among the academic staff in the school, there's a lot of professionalism. And as you walk the journey of education in the university, we'll expect you to be creative, to be innovative, to be accountable for what you do, and excellence should always be your motto, and ensure that you are fair to everyone in the society, hence social justice. The school has several strengths. To provide quality education through innovative teaching, research, and consultancy services, the school has very qualified members of academic staff. We have professors, doctors, who will ensure that the programs are well implemented. The infrastructure is there to ensure that you acquire what you need to acquire throughout your academic journey, and we have enough ICT facilities to ensure innovative learning. We have collaboration with institutions. As we will learn later, as we offer many programs, we need institutions for fieldwork, we need institutions for teacher practicum, mostly known as teaching practice. We also have programs that have been accredited by the Commission for University Education. They were approved and do not have problems with employment. The school has 2 departments. The first one is the Department of Curriculum, Instruction, and Educational Management, usually abbreviated as CIM. And the chair of department is Dr. Sami Mutisia. Very soon you'll be interacting with the chair of department. You'll get to know your chair of department. And as we'll be talking about the programs, kindly take note of the programs that will be offered in that particular department, because the chair of department is the person you'll be interacting with. If you have any question about which program you have to talk to your chair of department. The second department, we have the Department of Education, Foundation, and Psychology, known as EFP. And the chair of department is Dr. Naftali Rop. All those students who have been admitted to courses that offer guidance and counseling, special needs education, early childhood development education, they are anchored in that particular department. We have integrated education for sustainable development and global citizen education into our programs to enable students to acquire the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes necessary for contributing to sustainable development, sustainable lifestyles. If you don't think about sustainability, then you cannot survive. And we are talking about the Mother Earth. We have to know how to ensure sustainability. So it is not just about the development, but even your lifestyle should be sustainable. And understanding of the global interconnectedness and commitment to the common good. Everywhere we're being told that the world is a global village, and indeed, even the recent COVID-19 has taught us that indeed, the world is just a village. We are interconnected in whichever way. We also use inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Learning is not an event. It is supposed to be a lifetime issue. The programs offered in the Department of Curriculum, Instruction, and Educational Management are for the bachelor's level are the Bachelor of Education Arts and Bachelor of Education Science. So all of you have been admitted in those two programs, Bachelor of Education Arts and Bachelor of Education Science. You belong to the Department of Curriculum, Instruction, and Educational Management. Kindly take note that your chair of department is Dr. Sami Motisia. So any question about academic issues, about the courses you should be taking, about what it takes and the results, all the students who have been admitted in the Bachelor of Education Arts and Science, you belong to the CIM department. Okay, we know that as you join the university, you must be ambitious. You may want to progress to postgraduate level. The postgraduate programs provided in that department are Master of Education in Curriculum, Instruction, and Media, Master of Education in Educational Administration, Master of Education in Curriculum Studies. We have Doctor of Philosophy. Doctor of Philosophy is the equivalent of PhD. In Maasai Mara, we call them Doctor of Philosophy. So we have Doctor of Philosophy in Curriculum and Media Studies, Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Educational Administration, and Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Curriculum Studies. The Department of CIM recently developed a diploma program, and that is the Postgraduate Diploma in Education. Take note that it is a postgraduate, meaning that the students who can be admitted for that particular diploma, they are supposed to have done a basic degree, depending on the content courses they have done, and they may have interest in becoming teachers. If they qualify, they can be admitted to study the diploma and realize their dream of becoming a teacher. The programs offered in the Department of Education, Foundation, and Psychology, EFP, are Bachelor of Education Arts with Guidance and Counseling, Bachelor of Education Arts with Special Needs Education, Bachelor of Education Early Childhood Development Education, Bachelor of Education Science with Guidance and Counseling, and Bachelor of Education Science with Special Needs Education. So kindly take note that the difference between CIM and EFP, the CIM department only deals with education science and education arts. But for those of you who have been admitted to study education arts or education science, either with guidance and counseling or special needs, you will belong to the Department of Education, Foundation, and Psychology. The postgraduate programs which are offered in that particular department, should you want to progress in the same department, are Master of Education in Special Needs Education, Master of Education, Early Childhood Development, Master of Education, Educational Psychology, Master of Education, Guidance and Counseling, Master of Education, Philosophy of Education, Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Psychology, and Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Guidance and Counseling. So kindly note that anything guidance and counseling, special needs education, or early childhood belongs to the Department of Education, Foundation, and Psychology. As teacher educators, we are aware of the Global Development Agenda, mostly known as Vision 2030. Our programs are aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, education being the social pillar, according to that blueprint of development. Focus is on acquiring knowledge and skills in pedagogy, subject matter, knowledge, management, and ICT competencies, which are utilized in curriculum delivery besides being integrated in all other educational operations. After you graduate, you're supposed to use ICT in all functions in the school, be it curriculum delivery, management. Nowadays we talk about the NEMIS and all that. As you go through the B.Ed programs, you will be enabled to acquire all the skills to enable you do that. Currently, the world is talking about a pandemic, that is COVID-19. Now, teacher education and COVID-19, the pandemic has changed the way human beings operate, social distancing being one of the things to be observed in addition to hygiene. We transited to the new normal, enabled by ICT, to facilitate teaching and learning through the university's learning management system, mostly referred to as LMS. And very soon, you'll be talked to about LMS because your learning will be majorly through the LMS, and online interactive tools such as Zoom, Google Meet, Big Blue Button, among others. As a school, we are preparing for what the nation and the region has been talking about and implemented, the competency-based curriculum. We are aware that the Ministry of Education has already rolled out the competency-based curriculum, and as you'll be acquiring your pedagogical skills, you are the people who are going to ensure that learning takes place in line with the competency-based curriculum. The programs offered are aligned to the competency-based curriculum, whose core competencies are communication and collaboration, critical thinking and problem solving, imagination and creativity, citizenship, digital literacy, learning to learn, and self-efficacy. There is a need to use new pedagogical approaches or teaching approaches with the competency-based curriculum. There is need for innovation and creativity in learning. You may not be told everything, but you are supposed to be innovative enough to know what can work where and what is the most appropriate. And remember, we are talking about learners acquiring competencies, doing, not just being told some theoretical things. There is a paradigm shift from teaching to learning. We have to focus on learner-centered approaches, but not the traditional approach, which most of us, and some of you may have gone through. The teacher just comes to stand there and tells you what to do. No. The shift has changed. The paradigm shift in teaching has changed. Be prepared to implement the same. Teachers are moving from being authoritarian to being the guides and facilitators in the classroom. So your role will be to facilitate, provide the resources, provide everything, an enabling environment so that learning can take place. The school has a short course in sign language in the Department of EFP, and it is also the niche of the School of Education. We recognize that in the society, there are people who may not use the conventional means of communication. Therefore, there is need for sign language. And we are not looking at it just at the school, but we are looking at the society at large, in the institutions, in the hotel industry or the tourism industry. And education is the pillar to society. So we have to provide, and the School of Education saw the need to come up with a short course in sign language. I therefore encourage you, when you join Maasai Mara University, take interest and study that course in sign language so that you can actually communicate. As this particular short course, it can enable you to carry out critical research in the same area. You may want to progress to masters in the same area. Interpretation services in university are key. At times, those who work in the front line, you may meet a guest and you have to direct that person, and the person may be having a problem and can only use sign language. Not really a problem, but hearing impairment. So we encourage everybody. You can't say that I'm studying this course and therefore I can't relate. Remember, you're human beings and you're supposed to relate with everyone in the society. You don't just look at them. Sign language is a language, and that language is through signing. Kindly take notes and have interest to study sign language. It is also used to interact or improve the literacy levels in academia or as a language. We talk about English being the language of instruction, but remember, sign language is also a language of instruction to those particular target group in education. Sign language shapes the tourism industry, and Maasai Mara is just located around the tourists. And as you study, you are going to study entrepreneurial skills. As a teacher, you may begin any entrepreneurial industry that may require the sign language services. Take note, acquire the skill, it can always assist you. Sign language also promotes hospitality services in the hotels and other institutions that need them. It is used as a medium of instruction in the relevant institutions and encourages participation in academic gatherings. Should you go for a conference, you have gone for some leadership, or some students, university students are going somewhere. You have graduated, you are a teacher somewhere. You meet some colleagues who can only communicate through sign language. Purpose to study, take that short course so that you can communicate. You don't have to be so narrow in your approach to communication. It is actually a very important short course in the school. Employment opportunities. After you have completed your program in the school, you will have many employment opportunities. Graduates of the BEd programs, they can be employed in secondary schools, they can be employed in teacher training colleges, technical colleges, they can be employed in county governments or NGOs offering education programs in refugee camps, Childcare International, and others dealing with children. Take note that those who have been admitted for BEd Early Childhood Development, it has always been a fallacy that they're just going to teach in pre-unit. That is not true. Those are the people who are mostly employed by NGOs which deal with children. Children rights and all those NGOs, they are ready to employ them. And the county governments, remember, ECD is a function that is under the county governments and as directors of education in those particular areas. Institutions dealing with counseling services can also employ you, especially those who will have done courses in guidance and counseling, and institutions that need sign language services for their clients. Not forgetting social work. You can also be employed as a social worker. In the School of Education, we talk about inclusivity. Inclusive education is supposed to be there. We acknowledge that in the society, there are very many diverse groups of people who are supposed to acquire education. Through the conventional ways, we have the hearing impaired and we have the visual impaired. And we know that communication is not just about the conventional way, but we also know about the signing. So you have to have a very wide understanding of what education is all about. And as I welcome you as we interact, get to know what happens in other programs. Eventually when you go to teach, when you talk about inclusive education, that classroom, you may have some students who may not handle according to what you may think, but that is where you're coming to go through the teacher education program to widen your mind and give the best. Thank you for listening to me and welcome to Maasai Mara. Thank you.